20th All India Management Students Convention 2021. Future-proof your career for success. Madras Management Association (MMA) was established in 1956 with the objective of promoting management education, training and development activities in this part of the country. The vision of MMA is to be the fountainhead of the world-class management excellence in India. With over 8,000 corporate houses, professionals, academics and executives as members, MMA fosters and nurtures management expertise by combing Indian ethos with global management thoughts and practices. Every year, MMA organizes about 750 executive development activities, including seminars for top management. Over 59,000 executives and entrepreneurs have participated in MMA's regular events. With the same zeal of promoting management expertise of business professionals, MMA also molds future managers with its constant innovative programs tailor-made for students. MMA All India Management Students Convention. Management students are the future managers of India, on whom lies the responsibility of realizing the $5 trillion economy of India's dreams. MMA has been spearheading this movement and dream for practicing managers and management students. MMA launched its first All India Management Students Convention on the theme Transformation from Managers to Leaders in 2002. In these 20 years, the Management Students Convention has evolved and grown to be considered to be one of the landmark events for the year for management students in the country. This is a one-of-its-kind convention that showcases the untapped management talent of students to industry and provides a forum for institutes to benchmark themselves against the best. The convention also provides an opportunity to the students to learn from practicing management professionals and thought leaders. The MMA All India Management Students Convention is a prestigious event in India.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my privilege to welcome you all to the Madras Management Association's Students' Convention, which has been held since the year 2002. It has been a roaring success as MMA in its every vision has propagated the idea of management across the nation. Distinguished delegates, distinguished speakers, past presidents, members of the managing committee, members of the secretariat led by Group Captain Vijay Kumar, and students of this nation. Welcome once again. MMA has been propagating the idea of management since 2002 in the form of a students' convention, and every year we have a person as high a stature of, say, Mr. Mahalingam this year, who is the chairman of the convention committee and the vice president of the Madras Management Association. This year he is assisted by Mr. Shankar, who is the vice chairman of the convention committee. The theme for this year, after great deliberations, has been set as future-proof career for success for the students. It is simple. All you have to see is how management has taken the nation forward since its first inception in 1960, when the Indian Institutes of Management were founded. Your past education in whatever faculty it may have been, the management education brings forth an encapsulation of all your faculties, of all your abilities together to take an organization forward. It is a glamorous role to be in, and I am sure all of you are very proud to be there today. But as students, if I were to speak to you, allow me 3 points which I would like to make forward, which I would like to put forward for your possible consideration, nuggets of wisdom which has been passed on to me, which I would like to share today. The first one is a quote from Mark Twain. He said, I've learned to separate learning from education. So what's the feature here? Learning. All of us go through education in schools and colleges. But you must focus on the key point. What have I learnt? This is the key. This is the first nugget that I have been told. The second one comes from a Hollywood movie, a dialogue. Some of you may have seen the movie called Doctor Strange. It features an American actor called Benedict Cumberbatch, where he plays the role of a neurosurgeon, highly successful, but his faculties fail when he has an accident. And overnight, from a highly successful surgeon, he becomes a virtual liability as he feels himself to be. And he searches for a redemption, he searches for a solution, he searches for what he can do anymore. So therefore he goes to visit, of course this is a fantasy movie, so I am not suggesting that this is going to happen in actual life, but it's a good metaphor to be used. So he goes in search of a place where he finds what he calls the old one, where a lady is supposed to have been living for 3,000 years, who's supposed to be very spirited and knows what life and soul actually is. In one of her preachings to him, she tells him, Dr. Strange, you have been watching through your keyhole and you are trying to widen the keyhole to see what your world can possibly be. These are not the exact words, but it's something like that. She says, do not widen the keyhole. The idea is to open the door and walk into the room. The perception what I am trying to make good here is, it's possible that your management education could be another keyhole through which you are trying to view the world. Please use it as a faculty which will support you in your overall growth, and be wary of its pitfalls when it actually comes to real life. The third part is something of a nature which you could possibly alter. Something called the attitude. I mean, all of us know, everybody tells us, have a good attitude. But how do you cultivate such attitude? I have one solution, if you may wish to try. Count your blessings. If you count your blessings, you will know how fortunate you have been. As one said, all of us have misfortunes. All of us have fortunes. But you must count the number of fortunes that you have. This will bring an awareness as to see how lucky and how fortunate you are in real life. The other part is on time management. We all are always told how to manage time, how to allocate time, how to cut the tasks, etc., etc. But I would like to share with you something called an Eisenhower Matrix. Eisenhower Matrix is something that in the Second World War, the General Eisenhower had formulated a matrix called the Eisenhower Matrix. It's typically a 2x2 matrix, which essentially summarizes saying that what is urgent is seldom important, and what is important is seldom urgent. If you are able to think and identify when is a sense of urgency and when is it that such a task is important, you will be able to focus on the tasks ahead. A management education will give you tremendous depth into various faculties, various fraternities, such whether it is finance or culture or human relations, or even a simple thing as managing people. But if you can separate the grain from the chaff and identify how you can take a small unit forward, identifying the key issues, you would be able to go ahead much faster, much quicker, and yet you will remain humble, and you will understand, most importantly, the word of humility. Today, you have an array of brilliant speakers who are going to speak to you. Please listen to each and every word, to every nugget of wisdom they share with you. This is what will take you in your life forward. God bless you and all the best.
Good morning, dear students and management professionals. A very warm welcome to all of you to the 20th All India Management Students Convention of the Madras Management Association. Madras Management Association launched its first convention 20 years back in 2002 with the theme Transforming Managers to Leaders. Over the years, this convention has evolved and grown into a landmark event for management students professionals across the country. It offers three unique benefits. Firstly, it offers students a platform to showcase their untapped talents to industry. It also offers the opportunity for institutes to benchmark each other against each other. Finally, the really unique opportunity is for students and management professionals to learn from practicing managers and thought leaders. It is with pride and pleasure that we bring to you this year's convention with the theme Future-Proof Your Career for Success. The topic was selected after much deliberation. Given the circumstances, we thought it would be very appropriate. Students and management professionals have gone through many crises and disruptions over the last 2 years. They are just actually coming back to work and to class. We thought it would be the right time for them to refresh, recharge, and reboot and look ahead to career goals. The pandemic has really turned our lives upside down. It has changed the way we work, they changed the way we consume, and they changed we actually learn also. Many industries have suffered a lot because of the lockdowns. Many have got shut. It's been crisis time for many verticals and industries. But in the midst of all this, many opportunities have emerged. New business models, new innovations, new industries, and even some of the industries older have come back with vigor and vim. So it's actually a great time for students like you to step into the working world. It's really a big opportunity, and I would look at it positively. Given the fact that these times are not only times of crisis but times of opportunity, it's good to take a pause and see how to take your career ahead. All of us have career aspirations, what we want to be maybe 15, 20 years from now, even later, ultimately what we would like to be. But all of it doesn't happen in one go. It's important to define career aspirations and break them into short-term and mid-term career goals and work towards that. Get inputs, reskill yourself. All this is necessary to reach your ultimate career aspiration and ambitions. In today's session, we have put together 5 special events actually. Some of them focusing on core skill sets, how to build your career in the fast-growing growth tech space, how to skill yourself in the fast emerging AI, IoT, and ML space. We're also going to bring to you the soft elements of how to appreciate life. And finally, most importantly, how to plan your finances for tough times. These sessions will feature thought leaders, industry leaders, and the best brains in the business. So it's important that you soak as much of it in. I promise you, not only will you learn a lot, but you will find it extremely absorbing and interesting. I thank all the management institutes, the students, for participating in large numbers. I understand close to 30,000 students are participating in today's event, basically. So it's really a big event. I ask you to, implore you to make most of these sessions and learn and enjoy. I also wish to thank Group Captain Vijay Kumar and the Secretariat for putting this together. Without him, none of this would have been possible. To conduct the event virtually is not easy. Actually, it's more difficult than conducting it physically. I also wish to thank the committee members, the president, and the student convention committee members for helping me put this together. Have a great session, learn a lot, enjoy a lot. I'm sure you would have future-proofed your career for success a lot more than you would have before this session. Thank you. Learn a lot, have a great time, enjoy the sessions.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear students. It's once again my proud privilege to be here this morning to declare the results of the competitions held as a prelude to All India Management Student Convention. As a part of the convention, MMA conducts a number of competitions because competition is the only way where we can kindle the thought process of many students and they know to compete and as a team, as an individual and win laurels not only for themselves but also for the college which they represent. This year we conducted competitions under 4 segments. We did a paper presentation competition where the students were asked to write a written content. Thereafter, they were put before the preliminary jury, then the final jury for an oral evaluation. Similarly, we also had a business plan competition because India, I think the way we are reaching the unicorn, there are going to be a number of startups which is going to come up. We thought the business plan is very, very important actually for an entrepreneur. We did a business plan where the student had to come and discuss the business plan along with his partners, and the presentations are again evaluated by the venture capitalists, chartered accountant and entrepreneurs, and we select the best 3 and give the cash award. We also conduct a very management quiz because quiz is a way of activity of MMA. Every weekend, Saturdays and Sunday, we conduct a number of quizzes for all the members of MMA, and the students got addicted to the quiz, and this time the quiz really attracted more than 280 participants, and the quiz is again conducted in 2 rounds, preliminary and pre-finals, and the finals is done at MMA Management Center live because we do not want, we want a total transparency in conduct of the quiz. It is happen in MMA live. The last and the final competition what we conduct is the big debate. Debate is the only way you can express yourself. Not only you discuss what your point of view, put forth your point of view, you also give a rebuttal because at the end of the day as a corporate leader, one should have a very good debating skill to put forth your points, and we thought this skill is very, very essential for the management students. These are the 4 competitions. I am glad to share with you more than 350 teams participated in various competitions, due to which we had to have a multiple sessions with multiple preliminary jury, then final, and now we are going to declare the results of the. Before the results are declared, let me also take this opportunity to thank large number of people who made this convention a grand success. First, the sponsors, whose names are regularly displayed on the screen. Without their support, we couldn't have brought such an outstanding convention to you. Thereafter, I would like to thank the convention chairperson, Mr. Mali, and the vice chairman, Mr. Shankar, and the entire team of MMA Management Committee, the president, Mr. Subbarao, and also my team from MMA led by Mr. Group Captain Venkat, who put in tremendous effort to bring together various competitions and putting to the students and compiling and getting the various things organized for bringing you a great convention today. I also thank Aravind, the quiz master, who put together a great quizzing competition, both online, offline, which is held at MMA Management Center. Thank you, Aravind, for putting together some outstanding quiz. And webcast partner, Shankar, technically who worked together with us. And more than anything, the distinguished speakers work really come forward to come and speak to each one of us. The speakers, you can just click on the screen, you know the agenda on the speakers. We have been able to put together some outstanding themes with some outstanding brilliant speakers in the respective field. I am quite sure Mali has already told you the speakers who are going to be talking to us this morning. And let me again thank you students for watching in large number. At the end of the day, we have been told that over 1 lakh people watched this convention live over a period, and today is my proud privilege to declare the results of the competition held as a part of MMA Student Convention. May the AV of the result please. My compliments to all the management students who won in the competitions. This is a very, very important milestone in your career. You must keep winning because winning is a habit. We have given a prize money of over ₹1,20,000 to all the competitions. Thank you for participating, not only participating and winning and bringing laurels to the institution which you belong. Thanks once again, and now we move on to the special sessions by outstanding speakers for which you are all eagerly awaiting to listen. Over to the special sessions, please.
Gopi Kalayil, Chief Evangelist, Digital Transformation and Strategy at Google Board, Advisor to the CEO Plato. He works with Google's sales teams and customers and helps grow customer brands through digital marketing. In his prior roles, he worked as Chief Evangelist for Google+, led the marketing team for the company's flagship advertising product, AdWords in the Americas and Asia Pacific, and the marketing team for AdSense, Google's publisher-facing product. While a consultant with McKinsey & Company, he has also led large information technology projects for global corporations in India, China, and the US. Gopi earned his bachelor's degree in electronics engineering from the NIT in India. He received his master's in business administration, degrees from the IIM and the Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania. He is an avid yoga practitioner, triathlete, public speaker, global traveler, and Burning Man devotee. He has spoken at TEDx, Renaissance Weekend, the World Peace Festival, and Wisdom 2.0. He hosts a TV program on cable and YouTube called Change Makers.
Hello and welcome. In order to address the topic of how to future-proof your career for success, I want to start off by asking you a question. How many organs are there in your body? Think about it for a minute. Now, if you're not sure, you can always ask Google, and Miss Google will tell you that there are 78 organs in the human body. And today I want to introduce you to the 79th organ in the human body, which is this little device that you hold in the palm of your hand, your mobile phone. And you might think, why do I call it the 79th organ? But it is in very many ways like the 79th organ in your body. It has a skin, you touch it, it responds. It has ears, you speak to it, it understands. It has a voice, it can talk to you. It has eyes because it can see things around you and recognize faces, objects, etc. And it seems to have this incredible innate intelligence because you can ask it almost any question, and it seems to be able to tap into the collective knowledge available to humanity and give you the best answer. And this little device that you carry in the palm of your hand has this enormous capability where it can give you directions if you're going from Chennai to Mysore. It can order food for you. It can call a car to your door to take you to the airport. You can pay at various merchants with it, so it becomes like a payment mechanism. And it's a source of endless music and entertainment and news and information, etc. All of this bundled into this very, very tiny device in the palm of your hand. And the reason I'm using this example is any one of the use cases that I just mentioned, ordering food, ordering a ride, finding a room to stay in when you travel, making your payment, access to entertainment, all of these have become entire subclasses of industries with its own career track. None of this was available 15 years ago. The iPhone itself was only introduced in 2007. So it is a very recent phenomenon, all coming from one tiny device you carry in the palm of your hand, with entire classes of industries and career streams that have come out of it, and all driven by human ingenuity. So I'm using this example, this one small piece of technology, as an example to showcase how much opportunity now exists in terms of career paths and career tracks that all of you have, that I did not have when I was starting my career years ago. So congratulations, you are stepping into this incredible array of opportunity. But that also begs the question, how do you navigate your way through all this? How do you future-proof your career so that you are staying in step with all of these opportunities and take full advantage? And to answer that question, I have 5 recommendations or suggestions. The first is Pick a career track that gives you the most meaning and context. No matter what you pick, you need to have a sense of purpose. Now, this is a lesson I learned early on from somebody I respect a lot, David Pottruck. David used to be the CEO of Charles Schwab. When I joined Wharton as a young MBA student or grad, there was a series of talks that we had access to at Wharton, where CEOs of big companies invited to come and speak to the students. So in my first month at Wharton, David Pottruck was one of the invited guests, and I got a chance to meet with him and have dinner with him later. And when we asked him about how he had made his career track choices, how he future-proofed his career, he said the first job he picked right when he graduated from Wharton was not based on prestige, was not based on the highest salary, but he picked the job that gave him the most meaning, context, a sense of purpose and fulfillment. And he said he did it for his second job and third job, and he kept doing it. And in each job, he outperformed because he was in love with his job. He had complete meaning and context in his job, and therefore that led to him becoming the CEO of Charles Schwab eventually. And I took that advice to heart, and I've followed it ever since. And I've always asked the question when I pick a job or a career or a project within a career, is this going to fulfill me because I see meaning and context in this particular role? Let me step back and give you an example of how it can be actually defined in the context of an entire company. If you were to look at the founders of Google, where I work currently, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, when they started the company in 1998, they came up with a mission statement that had just 10 words in it. And in 10 words, they articulated very clearly the meaning and purpose of the company, the mission of the company, so every employee could easily understand it. And those 10 words were: organize the world's information, make it universally accessible and useful. Organize the world's information, make it universally accessible and useful. And in those 10 words, it was very clear what was the purpose of that company. And what I've noticed over the years is how Googlers often take that purpose and meaning and contextualize it for themselves in their own personal way, so that it goes from a corporate mission statement to your personalized mission statement to you creating meaning and context in a very, very personal sense. Let me give you an example of that in my own sense. My roots go back to a tiny rice farming village in Palakkad, Kerala called Chittilancheri. It's a small village, mostly rice farmers. This is where my grandparents were poor rice farmers. My parents were children of two poor rice farming families, and they grew up very modestly, without electricity, without running water, without access to college education. And when they finished high school level education in the village, their education pretty much stopped. But they had aspirations for their 4 kids that we would go on to do other things in life, we would have better education. And thanks to those aspirations, their 4 children, me and my 3 siblings, went on to get 10 advanced degrees, including 2 from US Ivy League business schools, even though my parents had never set foot in America. So you might ask the question, what caused that kind of social mobility in one generation? And it was simply access to information. But when we were growing up, it was very slow access. I remember when I was at the National Institute of Technology in Trichy, and I needed to decide which graduate schools to apply to in the US. I took an 8-hour train journey, the Rockford Express from Tiruchi to Chennai, so that I could go to the USIS library and look at a physical copy of the US World News Guide to Graduate Schools. But I was willing to make that 8-hour train journey in order to get access to that particular report. Today, 8 seconds seems too long because we've gotten used to access to information in much more faster ways. But back then, even though it was slow access, that access is what propelled me and my siblings forward. Today, when I go back to the village school where my mother studied in Chittilancheri, and when I look around, one thing is very clear. While the physical infrastructure may not have changed dramatically, what has changed is that kids in that school and in schools around the world with access to the kind of technologies that we are now building, they have access to the same amount of information as somebody who goes to an IIT or to Harvard Business School. In an era where information is like oxygen, we are leveling the playing field for information. And that is what gives me a sense of meaning and purpose in my own job, and how I've taken the mission of the company and contextualized it for my own personal context. So that would be my first lesson to you. Find meaning and context in the job. Find a sense of purpose. The second lesson I have for you in terms of future-proofing your career is to find your ikigai through your job. What does ikigai? It's a Japanese word, and it's spelled I-K-I-G-A-I. Ikigai means finding your true purpose in life. Finding your true purpose in life. So how do you find your true purpose in life? You find your ikigai when your life, when your work, when your career sits at the intersection of four circles. So imagine four circles, and when these four circles come together, at the center of those four circles, you find your ikigai, you find your true purpose in life. So what are those four circles? The first circle is do what you love. No matter what you pick as a job, career, profession, make sure you truly love it. And from the bottom of your heart, it's something that you really look forward to. It makes a huge difference. Second, do what you're good at, because we are all innately talented in a variety of forms. It could be leading, it could be organization, it could be data, it could be music, it could be creative works, it could be speaking, it could be teaching, it could be social work. Whatever it is, we are good at something, every one of us. So find the second thing. That is the second circle. First one is do what you love. Second one, do what you're good at. The third one, do what there's a demand for. Ultimately, whatever you pick as a job or a career, you want to make sure that there is a demand for that particular line of work. And that's what gives you then that sustenance you need. And fourth, do what the world will pay for. Not only should there be a demand for that service, but there should be a fair economic compensation. I'll just pause here for a minute. My screen went into sleep mode. I need to wake it up. There we go. So those are the four circles coming together. Do what you love. Do what you're good at. Third one is do what there's a demand for. And fourth, do what the world will compensate you for. So when these four circles together come together, you found your true purpose in life. You found your ikigai. And when I look at my own career at this point as a chief evangelist for digital transformation, I'm doing what I love. I love to be in front of customers and talk to them about complex concepts and demystify for them. I'm doing something that I've been told I'm good at, and which is why I was given the job. There is a demand for it because as technology and business gets more complex, customers want to understand how to really take full advantage of it so that they can grow and propel the business forward. And fourth, there is compensation tied to doing this kind of great work. So putting all those four things together, I would say you find your ikigai. The third piece of advice I have for you is to embrace curiosity. It is impossible to tell you what you will do 5 years from now, 10 years from now, because the careers and the industries that you will be working in do not exist today. Nobody can forecast it because they're yet to be invented. When I graduated from NIT, there's nothing that I could have prepared for that have put me in the center of the industries that I'm in now, that is consumer internet or things around cloud-based computing or technologies employing artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. There's no way I could have prepared. But along the way, I had to then pick these things up. And curiosity is what drove me in those directions of interesting new frontiers in technology. Even when I joined Google at 15 years ago, and I could not have anticipated the kind of things that I'm doing today. Back then, 15 years ago, there were two principal products, search and little text ads that ran next to it. There was no YouTube, there was no Chrome, no Android, no self-driving car, no cloud computing. All of these emerged later. So the only way you can future-proof yourself from a world that is changing so rapidly and in directions that you cannot anticipate and predict is to be curious. When a new thing emerges, find out what it is. But thankfully, we also live in a world where as soon as the technology is emerging, take cryptocurrency for example, there is a huge amount of information that the experts are willing to make available. And platforms like YouTube then explode with talks and seminars and workshops and tutorials that the experts who are learning very rapidly themselves are willing to put up. So you have access to that information and it's free for the most part. All you need is a very, very strong sense of curiosity to embrace all these new things that are emerging. The fourth aspect of future-proofing your career is to embrace experimentation. Now, I have a philosophy that I picked up from going to Burning Man for 15 years, and the philosophy is this, that all of life is a giant experiment. And experiments, by definition, lead to unexpected results. But we will never find out till we try. We will never find out till we try. So from that perspective, treat your life as one series of experiments and be curious and try different things. For example, early in my career, I was working at McKinsey & Company as a strategy consultant, and I decided to experiment. I left the comfort of a consulting career to start a company along with the McKinsey alum. That was my experiment, and I did 2 startups, and we had modest success. Both got acquired. You could say we were somewhat successful. You could argue that we didn't really fail and that we didn't build a very big company and take it public, depending on whatever level of your success or definition of success is. But I can say this, that I did experiment with the idea of writing a business plan, fundraising, going to investors, taking a new concept to market, finding customers, proving that there is a use case for the concept we were building, etc., and having certain degrees of success. I learned a lot. I learned what it takes to write a business plan, to start a company. I learned what it takes to get that first customer, the 10th customer, etc. And none of this I would have learned unless I was willing to conduct that experiment. And that experiment, I guarantee, gave me unexpected results. It was very different from what I had in mind. But I would never have found out till I was willing to conduct that experiment. So that is my fourth advice to you. That is, treat your entire life as a giant experiment and be willing to conduct a lot of experiments. The fifth principle that I want to talk to you about to future-proof your business is, and it goes hand in hand with experimentation, is failure. And in Google, there is a core principle of innovation called fail well. If you look at the entire array of products at Google, there are 9 products that have at least 1 billion people using them. Products like Search or YouTube or Gmail or Chrome, Android, etc. But what might not be known is that behind those 9 massively successful products are hundreds of products that actually failed, that some of which you may be available because it is in the public eye, but many of which you may not have seen because they didn't even get launched early on as we were trying to build it and dog food these products. We realized that they may not have the potential or they may not have the adoption curve we're looking for, and early on we withdrew this product. So that is the dirty little secret of product innovation at a big company, successful company like Google, that for every product that is successful, there are hundreds that have failed. And a lot of people work on them. If you look at my resume, the resume of my colleagues, it is littered with a lot of failed projects and products. And that is totally okay. It is considered part and parcel of succeeding in a company like Google, in an innovation-driven company like Google. So we often say fail well, fail fast, fail big, fail many times. And be prepared to have a similar kind of mentality when it comes to your career. Try a lot of different things, knowing that you will fail most of the time. Embrace the failure. The most important question is, what did you learn from the failure? What can you salvage from that failure? Can you morph that failure into something else? And this concept of morphing from failure is an important one. So worked for many years on Google+, Google's social media effort, and currently that product has been withdrawn. But out of that experimentation emerged 2 products that you know and use all the time, Google Photos and Google Meet. So they were derivatives of this massive effort on building a social media platform called Google+. So in that sense, you might call it a partial success, but it actually morphed into something else. And there are many other pieces of technologies like that came out of that experimentation that are still being used. So always think in terms of experimenting with your career, be prepared to succeed sometimes, fail most times, but out of each failure, learn something and morph into something else. So in closing then, I want to summarize the 5 principles of future-proofing your career that I started off with. The first is find meaning and context. Second, define your ikigai, find your ikigai. Third is to embrace curiosity, because things are going to change, things are going to emerge, things are going to be rapidly transforming. The fourth is treat your life as one giant experiment. And the fifth is fail well, fail fast, fail often, embrace failure. I wish you all the very best, and once again, congratulations. You are stepping into a long-term career in one of the most exciting times of human history. And I don't say this lightly. I've never seen anything like what happened in the last 20, 25 years and what is going to happen in the next 25 years as we continue to have an explosion of incredible technology platforms and areas, from cloud computing to artificial intelligence to concepts like virtual reality and cryptocurrency, etc. So you have thousands, tens of thousands of different career options and industry tracks that are going to emerge from all of this. Be curious, experiment, fail a lot, and find meaning and context through all of this work. Find your ikigai. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Professor Sridhar is founder of Grand Alliance for Management Excellence (GAMA), focused on higher education in management. Visiting faculty at various management schools, he is a learning and development intervention specialist. He teaches at various management institutes, consulting and with focus on vision, mission, goal setting in HR. Advisor to startups in FMCG, services space, a research foundation and an NGO. Alumnus of Loyola College, Chennai, and management graduate from Symbiosis, Pune. Mr. Jürgen Hess, Chairman and CEO, Piton, Germany. Jürgen Hess is based out of Germany as CEO Piton AG. He is a man of action in being an entrepreneur, digital enthusiast, global acting, and international partner network. Telecoms industry veteran, having worked for over 25 years to develop, implement, and execute new businesses in different global markets. He was CEO of Unlimited IoT business based in Mumbai to execute the IoT strategy for India. Before, he has founded and managed as Vice President the M2M Competence Center for Deutsche Telekom. He had been board member of many global M2M associations such like Global M2M Alliance (GMA), International M2M Council (IMS), and M2M Alliance.
Today I want to tell you a little bit more about Piton, which is a very global acting company. And what we are doing, later you will see, is very, very crazy things around the world to bringing people, young people and experts and network people together to create something very, very new. So I believe, let's start. I will show you in a few slides what is behind Piton, and then to the main part, while we are talking about young people and careers of young people, because both is linked close together. Good. Then I will start the presentation. Talking about Piton. Piton is, we call Piton as an company maker or company builder. And the core element of this are young people, because they are all the time in the driver's seat of all these new ideas. Okay, Piton, what is the vision of Piton? The target of Piton is really to translate available digitalization into things that makes a difference to people. You can read it. I believe I don't want to read all of it. That means we really want to bring people together to use new, amazing digital services, and they use it together. What Piton never would like to develop is online games, because if you're developing online games, you're in front of a screen and you are alone. You're playing against virtual teams. what we want to use, we want to develop digital services for the mass market around the world to bring people together. So, and yeah, what is at the end of the day the mission behind this? You have to start with all these activities from the core. That means to create something really new, you need a new setup of people, a new setup of work, and this is one of the core elements. Python itself was founded 2 years ago, and at that time I was in India, and we have thought about, because before we have developed B2B services for B2B application, we thought, okay, how we can develop new things for the mass market. And then we have created some PowerPoint slides. People who are knowing me, I like PowerPoint slides. And then we have shared this to different people, and especially to young people, because to offer digital services to the mass market, the next generation, these people are the target customer. And the feedback was very, very good on this side. And then we thought, okay, if we are doing this, how we can develop and how we can create this in a very powerful way. You can see what is our approach. The approach of all of this is socializing digitalization. That means really developing things where people are sitting around. And at the end of the day, if you are a member of Python, it is your baby. Each product is, you have to burn for this product. You have to burn for this idea. You never should think in the morning, I have to go to work. No, you have to, you want to go to a place where you can do things you want to do many years before. This is the idea behind this. Okay, Python itself is a company builder. That's very important from the idea. And to show this on the picture, I believe here you can see it's very simple. I will not explain all of this from the idea, but to create a new company, Python as a company builder, you have we call it 5 phases. We have the creating, brainstorming a new idea. You have to evaluate this idea. Then you have to create a legal organization. And when the product is really, you can sell the first product to the market and you can scale it up. And then the company is more or less independent. And the Python itself, what we are doing, especially when people are coming in, we are creating teams. That means if you as a person have a very cool idea to whom you should go with your cool idea, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be in the driver's seat, then you can come to us. We as a Python, we are offering some services to support you as a person, as an entrepreneur. That means we are asking you what you need. Do you have a marketing plan? You have a business plan? You have sourcing on R&D? Whatever you need for yourself to build up your idea, we want to support you. This is including more people. At the end of the day, when we are coming to the validation, we have around about, let's say, 10 people, and you as a person, and you will be in the driver's seat. And then we are creating an independent company. That means the Python itself as a holding is only a support organization who's supporting you as a person, that you can be as soon as possible create your own company as an independent company. We call them a spin-off. That means from the ideation up to the creation, we are supporting you, and then the company is more or less independent. The ideas can come from outside, from inside. You can come in with your own ideas. This is the principle of Python. What we are offering, it's very important that you should know what as a Python we can offer. First of all, access to whatever you as a young entrepreneur need. You need access to partners, to experts, to innovation, to R&D power. to money. You need cash normally to create something new. And all of this is a portfolio Piton is offering to you so that you can create your own organization. But I would say this slide is the most relevant slide, because what is the DNA of Piton, how we're acting. When young people, when the new ideas coming in, we have all the time 3 types of skill sets of people in this new team. The first are, let's call it the young devils, the young and hungry people, high potential people who have never created their own company, but have a cool idea. There could be 1 or 2 or 3 person. So they have an idea and they want to develop or do something very new for the global market. And then we believe we have to combine 2 things. The young people with the senior people. I'm a senior people. Many others are also senior people with a huge network of experts which have knowing many people. And these 2 people we are bringing together, creating a business plan, creating a team, whatever the young entrepreneur needs. And then we think, okay, now it's ready. We have a business plan. You know, you need $100,000, $1 million to make it happen. Then we're also looking for money, for the right people, and for domain experts. And in the last slide, you will see what type of crazy things we are doing. That means sometimes, I give you an example, very simple. We are creating a new form of multi-sensoric location. It's a very cool form of a restaurant with a 36-degree screen around, and you have the feeling you are there. So that means, and believe me, nobody of us has ever created a new restaurant. So, and we have done this. Young people have had a cool idea. We have added this with some senior people, and now we have very famous global acting experts on board who are supporting us. For example, we have a movie maker who got a German award for movies, who are producing the 36-degree movies for us. We have star cooks. We have technology experts, and all of this because everybody's knowing somebody else. And believe me or not, in the driver's seat, the managing director of this new organization, this new company, is a 27-year-old person. A 27-year-old person, because he's burning for this idea. And besides this, there's an older person who is supporting him. These 2 persons plus, I believe actually there are already 50 or 30 people who are going ahead. And to trust people and to make it happen means also to give them all the tools they need. And for example, these digital restaurants, the investment of 1 restaurant is around about $7 million for each of these restaurants. And we want to build up 50 around the world. And the young person is in the driver's seat. And we are hiring more and more people. This is what I mean to hand over the ideas and the power from the senior people to the next generation, to the young people. So this is the reason why I personally believe this slide, this is the DNA of how we want to support to building careers in the tech space, because we're talking about a lot of technology in the background. We have IPRs and all of this, but again, young people are in the driver's seat. This is key. So then coming to the next slide, as I mentioned before, young people have to drive the new company. They are on the driver's seat. And it's not only people. I believe if you're creating something new, that means, first of all, that the older people never should say, oh, I'm an expert, I know how it works, and all of this. No. So that means you need a very flat hierarchy. That means everybody can bring himself into the discussion. You need a culture of failure, because when you have never done something like this, and believe me, for the restaurants, as an example, today the people, very global experts of restaurants, coming to us and telling us, wow, it's amazing. I've never seen something like this. I want to be a part of this. So that means, first of all, you need a flat hierarchy. You need a very open brain, a mindset for brainstorming between the young people and the older people as the technology on the same level. It's the key. You need a high diversity, in age. Are you a man, a woman, wherever you're based, is fully independent. You are a part of the team. That means we are working full virtually from Australia up to Sweden, Stockholm. This is very important. And whatever you're doing, I'm a fan of think big. Don't think about whatever you're doing. Oh no, let's start in a very small idea, or let's start here a little bit. No, think big. Never be nervous to think big, because sometimes to scale up things, especially young people, normally say, oh no, let's start a little bit here. No, why? Sometimes you need the power and the energy by yourself. Why not? Why not build up 50 restaurants around the world? Why it's not possible? Other people have done the same crazy things. So this is a very important part. From our side, what you need the access to partner, to technology. What is also important is to building careers in this tech world. Everybody has to be very open to learn new things on both sides, the younger people and the older people. The younger people have to accept that sometimes older people also knowing that makes sense, let's talk about it, and otherwise. That's sometimes not so easy, because everybody has this historical mindset, but this is a must. This is absolute a must in the behavior. When we are creating something new, you have to be very open to accept the mindset of other people, and talking not too emotional, talking more on what is the logic behind, what is the risk, why, tell me why you are doing this, and so on. I believe this is also a learning of a culture or a behavior, how people should work together. And whatever you're doing, especially as a young entrepreneur, you never should think about money at the beginning. Yes, you need some money to survive, crystal clear, but you have to burn for things you are doing. Because when people are doing things which they like, there's 10 times, 100 times more energy than you compared to the idea of each morning I'm going to the office, I'm doing what my boss is telling me, I'm only doing this, I never would add my personal ideas to this. No, you have to burn for the idea. It's your idea, or you are a part of this idea. Remember the restaurant idea. I can share it to everybody who's interested in. Think about when you have developed something like this. You have built it up, and you have an opening, the first event in this restaurant will happen. And you, as an owner, as a creator of this idea, you are sitting in the middle of this restaurant in the evening, and the people will, after this, will say, wow, that was amazing. I've never seen something like this. And you are the owner. It's your baby. This is much more compared to money. Money will come from a loan. I believe that's not the core element at the beginning. You have to burn for the idea. When you're burning for the idea, the money itself is coming from a loan. I believe this is, from my side, very, very important in the mindset and the thinking of how to be an entrepreneur, how to build up your own ideas, how you build up your career. And you also can swap. I want to tell this because when you have to think bigger means also you have to think cross. You have to learn when you're a technical person. You have to learn, okay, what does it mean on the financial stream? What is the impact on it? Learn it. It's very simple. Don't think, oh no, other people are doing this. Or if you have some gaps, oh no, I'm not an expert in technology. Try to work close to people who are knowing how it works, and you will learn minimum on a high level that later on you understand much more the links between all of this, so that you think on a much more on a higher level, that you understand what is the process, why we are doing this, what is the impact when I'm doing something here, to later on or at the end when you are producing things. So the idea of Python, very simple. New ideas are coming in all the time. And then we call it a spin-off. Actually, we have 9 ideas, and we have already created 5. Now we are just starting 6 spin-offs as an independent company. There's a reason why we are calling as a company maker, and it's open for everybody. There's nothing where we say, oh no, you're too young or you don't have the right experience. I believe if people are burning for things, it's coming by itself. From the idea, this is only, you should know what crazy things we are doing. And believe me, all of this I've never, not all, but most of these things I've never done in my life. I'm starting here with digital services. Only we have created a healthcare solution with beacons with an IoT platform in the back. We want to sell, this is the reason why thinking big, millions of beacons for this solution. People are saying, oh, it's already existing. No, it's not existing. If you're searching what's existing in the market, it's not existing in a way like this. We are creating for electric car charging a special solution. I want to tell too much about it because somebody has some experience, and then we have thought about electric cars is a next generation, and we want to be a part of it. We are creating a new form of ticketing system based on blockchain and NFT technology. And it's amazing because you don't need all the dealers between. It's a super safe version of ticketing system. And now we are already in deep discussion with experts, actors, and very famous people around the world who want to use this ticketing system for electronic secure tickets. And you never can create fake tickets with this one. It's a very secure version. You have never done this before. Then coming to the left side, this is our digital restaurant. I've already explained it. And before I'm coming to Let to Go, this is the craziest one. I want to explain a little bit in the middle. We have created digital titles. It's a screen 15 by 15. You can click them together, make them to a huge screen. And with this, we are just now developing a board game console, and of these board game consoles, we want to sell around about 2 million units around the world in the next 2 years. And in the driver's seat, again, are young people. We have thought about make it happen. Now we have a huge networks around the world, from Chicago to Europe, wherever the people are, and we are designing and developing things like this. And with the same technology, with these clicking screens, we are developing digital art. We have you can use the screens for a wall and click them together, like me here on the back, and you can upload anytime new pictures, and you can combine pictures from here to the other side of the wall. They can talk to each other. It's a little bit like Spotify for art. Same technology, people have thought about what else I can do with it. And this is a carpet play field for kids, Playmobil and Lego and all of this, when kids can play with this. It's a lot of technology in the back, but it's, again, whatever you see is how to bring people together. And the last point is here, Let to Go. Believe me or not, I've never in my life written a book. when the last 2 years I've started to write down a book about older people, young people, how they can live together, what is the problem between generation. And I've written a book around 200 sides. And a very famous person from Germany told me, why not create a series for Netflix or for Amazon Prime? Let's do it. And then we have started to create this book, whatever you need around this to fix it. And now we are already in discussion. I've never done this in my life, but that shows you should do the same. Whatever you want to do, open your mindset, ask us, and we try to push this. Last point is here a foundation. That means we also, whatever we are doing, we want to give some money back to the people. That means we have created a foundation where we spend all the time 1% of any revenue to the market back for special social projects. Good. I would say last slide, but that's not so very interesting. That's the Piton AG. This the legal organization with all the spin-offs and more spin-offs, and you could be a member of a new idea. You could be your own entrepreneur in the future. And I would say this is already the last slide. And yeah, I believe coming back to what we are doing and to the top line of building careers. Everything is possible. Believe me or not, everything you are doing, talk to people, ask people, try to push yourself, do what you want to do, not do what you have to do. This, and when you're burning for these ideas, and we are very open on our side to support young people to hand over our knowledge to the next generation. And again, don't look only for money. Money is coming full automatically if you're doing things you want to do, because these things you are doing in a very, very powerful way and with so much energy. So hopefully that was interesting. It was a little bit different. Hopefully not too much about Piton. Piton is only the frame around it. For me, it's much more doing things crazy. For example, last point is one member of the young people is my son. And believe me, it's amazing. I've created a company together with my son, and he is my boss. He's telling me what I have to do. This is also something new for me, but it shows how generation can work together and creating something very new. So with these words, I would say I want to end my presentation. And yeah, now I believe I'm open for question and anything else you're interested in.
Thanks to you for joining us from Germany, and it's a very useful topic as a prof where I've dealt with some thousands of students in the last 10 years. Now, like for example, you have chosen your son as a CEO of a company and where you are an employee. That's what I heard.
It is.
How do you think, or how do you choose the CEOs? If you are a student and we are speaking of tech, you are speaking of technology, you are speaking of management, and you are speaking of finance. How do you choose students to be CEOs?
Yeah, first of all, yes, it's all the time. He never got the job because he's my son. That's not the right way, because in other streams, other young people are on the driver's seat. But in this case, he's an expert in gaming, for example. In gaming, he's knowing a lot of things around gaming, and he has a lot of digital background, and he has already founded 2 years before his own company. Now he's 26. At that time, he was 23 when he created his own company in the healthcare sector, in a totally different sector. No less technology, much more in the healthcare sector. And then we started a brainstorming, and my impression is, wow, he likes the idea. He likes the idea. And then he has thought a lot about things. And he came all the time with questions, should we go? I will ask this, I will do this. This is the reason why burning for what you are doing. And the same we have done for other independent streams. It's not our part to push people. That's not the idea. The people have to think, they have to identify themselves with these services or this product, and then they will get all the power. And again, wherever in the world, it's in this case, it was my son who's also based in Germany, but other people are sitting around the world. But it's less that he's knowing all, it's much more that he's willing to learn. This is the same as for a business career. If you want to increase your career to the top management, don't think about, no, he's telling me what I have to do. No, learning by yourself, learning, doing things you have never done before. And if you have gaps in your mindset, very open and how I can fill this gap with other experts. It's not necessary that I'm knowing all. You need the right, it's a team spirit. It's not that I'm the boss or he's the boss and he's telling what, no, it's much more creating a powerful team. This is, so that means there's also a social impact. Are they able to drive a team? Are they able to motivate people? Are they able to thinking in this case, as an entrepreneur? You can be also a member. It's not necessary to be an entrepreneur. You can be a member of this team, but you have to think and you have to communicate what you need, what you want to do.
In your career, now you're an entrepreneur and creating a lot of entrepreneurs. But when you have been a CEO in the tech company, like for example, you have managed Indian space across IoT, AL, machine learning, you name it. And you have been across Middle East and globe as well. What are in the tech space, what is that as a CEO, how you build your team, or what is that you're looking for students to prepare if they have to be part of your team?
I believe I've tried to give you the answer particular before. First of all is you have to accept culture. Believe me, when I came to India, well, I've started from scratch. I was the only German in this round, and we have hired more than 100 Indian people at that time. It's all the time you have to listen. You have to trust people, and you have to listen how they are acting, and then you have to think about, okay, what is missing? What is where are their strengths and where is the weakness, and how I can manage this as a team. And you have to create a team around you. I believe this is one of the key elements. Don't believe I'm the boss. I'm knowing all. I'm telling everybody what they have to do. That was all the time I'm learning in the Middle East, and the same like in India. And on the tech space, technology, digital services, the speed of development new things is so you're not able to follow all. Forget it. You have no chance all the time knowing whatever is going around you on the R&D side, on the innovation part. That means you have to create a partner ecosystem around you, and you have to create round tables so that people have to explain in a simple way complex content, and not telling simple things in a complex way. That doesn't help. Really, innovation means sometimes, no, tell me in a very simple way, what is blockchain? How does it work? Why I should use it? No? You can do it in a very simple way that everybody's understanding this, or you also can do it in a very complex way so that everybody, this is an expert. He's knowing, no, why? But open your mindset and try to manage this in a way. But again, culture, people, creating teams and internal teams and external teams on the technology side for innovation, because there's so many things which are happening. But I'm learning daily, believe me.
When you are saying you are learning daily, and then I think the students who are watching should learn much more and invest more in learning and picking up the skills.
Yeah, and sometimes doing things you have never done before. Again, I've never written a book. I've never created a restaurant. I've never done a movie. I've never done a movie. Believe me, I'm out of range to make a movie. And at the beginning, people told me when I started to write a book, Jürgen, what you're doing, you have already created 8 ideas. 8 ideas. You need hundreds of people to execute this. And now you are writing a book. Please tell me what you are smoking. And I told him, no, I'm smoking nothing. It was only an idea. And it was an idea. Either you can say, well, throw it away. I'm not interested. Why not do it? And this is very important. Do what you want to do, where you're interested in. Then you are the king of this, not the king, but you are in the driving position to push things. And to be honest all the time, transparent and honest. Whatever you're doing. If you're not happy with the result, bring it on the table. If you're super happy, tell people all the time, wow, it's a great job you have done. Not only when they're doing a failure. Failure is very easy to, no, you can do it otherwise sometimes. No, or telling, I believe you are better in, I don't know, finance or in marketing. You are more a front runner. You should go more to business development or other things. Why not do it?
Now, in this present world, when you have the edutech companies across the globe, Harvard coming on online, or Ivy League colleges giving online, and students are going and studying in person in those best of the universities across the globe. For a student who is in a tier 2 city in India or across the globe, if he is not accessible to this high level, high cost education, whether you as a company leader or a person will look in for a skill sets or a certification or degrees, what does it matter to you?
First of all is forget where you're coming from, because it could be very rich, very poor access to all of this or not. I can tell a little bit from my side as a person. I came from, believe me, a very, very small village, very small. And in a rural area. So and then I was the first person in my family who has studied. First person. Wow, he's going to a city. With 20, I went to a city where I've seen thousands of people, and then whatever. And for me, it's important, create your personal network from the beginning. It's not only I have to learn, I have to teach, it's really create a network and work on your network. The relationship to people is the key. The relationship to people offers in the long term. And sometimes you have nothing to tell to the people. Could happen that we know, for both of us, could happen that 1 year we never have talked.
True.
But then, I find here, let's pick up the phone and call him. And then you're starting this, but you need a relationship. You need a relationship to people, independent of you don't have access to super universities or so. It's much more learning by doing, talking to people and listen. Not only download what you are knowing, is much more asking, and the people have to tell you a little bit more about things. And then you also can make your personal career on the second way, not on the first way. Sometimes you're also running, crashing a wall. You say, oh my God, that was wrong. But then going 1 step back or 2 step backs and think, okay, why it was happened and how I can change things to make it better. And sometimes then you can pass a wall in a different way. Or sometimes you have to go some more curves and trust yourself and then it will work, I would say.
So for you, skill sets matter than the degrees or something, if I'm correct?
I'm personally knowing people who have stopped school in a very, very early stage, and they made a lot of money because later on they've never studied, they've never done this, but they have worked very hard on things they want to do. And then they made their own way. And I believe to study is super, it helps a lot, but sometimes thinking cross, not to focus on I don't know, one special part. Think a little bit broader. When you're a tech person, what is what are financial factors? What I need for go to market? What is the impact on production? If you're developing a product as a prototype, what is the impact for mass production? Can I do it directly one by one? Listen to people who are doing mass production. And then later on, it has an impact on your development side. Then you know, oh, next time I would develop it a little bit different because it helps later on people. It's the same as for the market. So thinking a little broader, not only focus too much on your on this one special appointment.
And now, coming back to the presentation, what I saw about Peton, just to say, is Peton going to be a global incubator, or is it going to be like similar to incubator? Or
It's nobody believes us. We have started with a few people. Actually, we are 160 people, and most of the people are working in the free time for us. They have a normal job, but in the evening they're working hours, or over the weekend they're working for us. And whenever a spin-off is starting and the money is there, then they're canceling their old contract, and then they're employee of us. So this is the idea. But that means you can see how they like what they are doing. Normally in the private time, nobody would do things we are doing. But the people, all the people are coming back to us and say, oh, that's so very cool. I have access to so many people to whatever I want to do. And at the end of the day, we want to hire thousands of people if all of this is working. I'm sure not all of this will work, but the idea is to hire thousands of people in the next years. And this is at the end of the day the target. So people should have fun, and everybody at the end of the day, everybody from the managing director of a spin-off, including the person who's cleaning things in the kitchen, any value from the company when they're making profit, everybody should get something. Everybody. Not only the managing director, everybody should be a part of the family. It's very important, because then you think, I'm a part of this. I've cleaned up all the dishes and whatever I've done, but this is a part of the story. Without him, it doesn't work. So, and this is everybody's on the same level, and when the business is up and running, everybody should get something from this.
And in the final leg of the question from my side, I understand think big, but people are very much hesitant. If you ask me, the generation I came from, I was supposed to be a government employee. My parents were comfortable if I'm a government employee, or to a certain extent, a global MNC, and afterwards, a well-established conglomerate. But nowadays, people are risking startups, and they want to get into startups. And now everybody speaks technology, everybody speaks data. But think big is the word which, because of think big, big data has come in. But can you throw light on think big really? What does it matter for a person from a tier 2 city or a tier 3 city?
You just mentioned big data and all of this. For me, the key question, whatever you're doing, if you're developing a service or a product, is why a person should buy it. Why? Very simple question. Why somebody should like this product and should spending money? Why you should buy a board game console for $500? What is the differentiator? What is the value? And I mean, this is and if you have given yourself, or by asking people the right answer to this, then you have to think about what could be a possible market price. How much people are willing to pay for something, for a service or whatever, $1, $10. And depending on this, you have to think about how big I have to think. Coming to the board game console, it makes no sense to develop a board game console for 1,000 units, because you're investing millions of dollars in R&D, millions of dollars. It doesn't work. So then you think, okay, is there a market for 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million units? First of all, technology. Is there a market? How much? Independent of cost, what people are willing to pay for this. And if you're knowing this, then you have to say, what is how I have to scale up my ideas, and then you have at the end to find the right people. And it's not easy, believe me. There's a lot of effort in the back, but it's possible. Don't say no, it's not possible. There's a wonderful statement. So, when there's a footprint on the moon, I never say it's impossible because there's a footprint on the moon. And this is exactly the same day. Never say it's not possible. It's all the time possible. Or sometimes, if it's not possible, if you know after asking 20 people or 100 people, and everybody is telling you, forget it, then really stop it. Why not? Stop it. Then stop it and think a little bit different. Are there things to change? Like big innovation person all the time. They've worked many years, and there was one step back, two step backs, and then one step forward, two steps, three step forwards. Sometimes it's not all the time easy to make things, but if it's easy work can do everybody. You are an entrepreneur. You want to increase your career, you want to be in the driver's seat. That's the reason why more responsibility. Why you're increasing your career, because you want to get more responsibility for product, for people, for whatever, on a product side or on a managing side. And life is not easy, but it's wonderful. And it makes so much fun for me also for learning from young people, and it makes me also a little bit younger compared to others.
Thanks a lot. It's very interesting to listen to you.